Oh my
My
God,
God,
you
you
guys.
guys.
It is episode 9.
9. Yes. Oh my gosh. We are podcasting.
I know, I have to confirm. Is it episode 9? Yes.
Yes, it
okay,
is.
Confirm.
You were right.
Confirm.
Even
It
if you
is-
weren't, I was going to agree.
It is episode 9 of I Have Opinions Too. And today's topic is the Oscar winning film, Anora.
Anora, starring Mikey Madison.
Let me tell you, this film won so many awards. So, of course, I wanted to be like,
Seemingly out of nowhere, because I didn't hear anything about this movie until Oscar time.
So obviously, I wanted to be like, what is the tea on this movie?
Well, I heard about it briefly because I was watching that Pamela Anderson interview, right? And she was being interviewed by Mikey Madison. They're doing like a back and forth about their movies. So I was like, oh, I guess they're both similar films. And when we saw Last Showgirl, we all know how we felt about that. Or
Yeah.
how I felt.
I mean, it was a little disappointing because of the hype, because they hyped up the movie so much.
Yeah.
And this movie got so much hype as well. So I try to like not let that disturb my opinions this time around. I went in with a clean slate. I didn't really watch any interviews. I didn't read a synopsis. I didn't do any of that. I just went in with a clean slate to watch it.
Well, see, I did all of those things. I think the thing that helped me like this movie more was the fact that I did not pay to watch it.
Oh, that's right.
It was free on streaming.
Because it is on Disney Plus. So this make Anora a Disney princess?
I think it does. I think Mikey Madison's Anora is technically a Disney princess. Isn't that how it works? You just have to be on Disney Plus and streaming.
And you know, since this movie is so like rated R, almost rated X. I don't know what it was rated, but there was a lot of nudity and a lot of like SDX.
You see Mikey Madison's titties in like the first 30 seconds. It was crazy. I was like, whoa. That's the little evil girl from Scream. What are we doing?
I do not want to hear anything about seeing a gay kiss on Disney Plus now.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there was full on titties all over this movie.
And it's like front page advertised. So I'm just like, people are going to click it. And there's no like disclaimer or anything.
No. But let's get into it. Let's get into our thoughts of Anora. Do you want to give a little synopsis?
Yeah,
Or should I look up what the synopsis is?
Oh, I can give you the rundown
Okay.
because the story was not hard to follow. Basically, Anora is a modern day Cinderella story with Mikey Madison playing a stripper who ends up marrying a very wealthy Russian guy who's got a family that is pissed about it. They are pissed this happens, and they're going to try and like annul it by any means possible.
Yes. Spoiler alert. We will be talking about the movie, obviously.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, click off.
Yeah. I mean, again, it is on Disney Plus now, so you don't have to actually pay for the movie.
You have to pay for the streaming service though.
Well, just get someone. I'm not saying you should password share or anything. I would never condone that. But if you have to do what you have to do to watch it, do what you got to do. All right. Okay. So number first, I think this movie got a little overhyped for me. I'm not going to lie. I feel like all the like critics and everything, I don't think I saw the same movie.
That's what I also initially thought until I did what I didn't do before I watched it. And then after the movie, I started looking up interviews, behind the scenes, and all that. I could kind of see why they awarded the film on a technical aspect and acting aspect as well. Because after seeing behind the scenes interviews, Mikey Madison, that's her name, right?
Yeah.
Mikey Madison did a lot of research for this role. Like she took like stripping classes. She hung out at strip clubs. She learned Russian. And I don't know. I feel like she did a lot of work to prepare for this role. She really like wanted to live that lifestyle. I don't know. For me, it's kind of like
She did what actors are supposed to do when they play a role. She researched.
but not every actor researched though. That's the thing. Some actors are like, I'm just gonna pretend, and like she actually put in the work for this role. So I think that's
She
why.
lived as a Russian stripper for 3 years to prepare for this role.
And it was all shot on film, which I was like, oh, okay. When you shoot on film, sometimes you don't get a second take, okay?
Uh-huh.
When you shoot digital, you can shoot how many ever times you want because you have a memory card. You could delete it. And when it comes to like the technical aspect of it, like bringing like exposure, getting the right exposure for the sun and stuff, it's easier, at least I believe, for digital than on film because once that sun starts going down, you're going to see a lot of grain.
Uh-huh.
So you have to get your shots like this. So your acting has to be on point.
And I'm just like, yeah, but it didn't really make much of a difference stylistic wise or anything like that. It looked like it was shot with any old camera. So like they really didn't utilize the film the way you think they would.
Well, I think
They're just making things harder for themselves for no reason.
no, I think you think that it looks like any other film because you're used to watching old films.
Well, if you're going to use fucking film, then light the shit better.
So
use a set where it's where that kind of stuff's intended.
digital cameras cannot capture the same picture as film. Like something that looks like Anora, something that looks like Pamela Anderson,
Last Show
like the
Girl.
Last Show Girl. You cannot get that out of a digital camera because you will notice what was digitally put on there.
Okay, but again, it's not as if they're utilizing this like method for filming. Like I'm saying, like that stuff is meant for stages and sound stages and things like that. So I'm just like, it's not like they're filming fucking Anti-Mame. It's a documentary style movie. All it does is make it look dirtier.
But that's what he wanted.
So just rub some dirty pant underwear on the fucking film lens then.
Exactly. You called it you called it film lens, which was a film lens.
Oh, camera lens. I'm so sorry for the technical problems. Jesus. Yeah, I honestly didn't think it did anything for the film. I don't think it made any difference whatsoever.
It does make a difference because you have, like I said, you don't get a second take most of the time with film.
And whose fault is that? They didn't have to use that.
But it's a stylistic show.
I'm not impressed. I'm sorry. Don't impress me much.
Well, the Oscars were impressed.
Well, the Oscars are hosted here also. Let's get into that then. They also put behind, I believe, several $1 million campaign for the Oscars in order to like compete. So did it really do that much work? Did it?
But isn't it against like big movie productions as well? When it comes to this film, I believe, I don't know much about this director. I just looked it up. When I looked it up, apparently, I don't know if this is true, but this is what they're stating, is that Sean Baker did the writing, the directing, and the editing. I'm like,
and
damn.
you can tell because it was fully the male gaze.
And I was like, God damn.
They also had no intimacy coordinator on set. There's lots of things about this movie that will like raise an eyebrow for me.
James just found out what that was like 2 months ago. And it's just bringing it up.
Well, I'm in acting classes now, so I have to be aware of these kind of things. If there's no intimacy coordinator, I need to know.
Was there an intimacy coordinator on The Bitch Who Stole Christmas?
No, but I also didn't have any love scenes. Until I fought for them. I did fight for them.
I admire the fact, like as somebody, like like you struggle using a digital camera. So using a film camera, I was like...
Well, I'm also not a fucking film director.
But that's what I'm saying.
Talent.
It's also like, I'm amazed by the fact that it was all shot on film because you don't get that many takes. So you have to, your whole team has to be on point in order for the scene to work. I'm guessing that's why I got a lot of awards.
They're shooting like day and night scenes on Coney Island. It's not as if they're like, you know, on like a torrential downpour where they have to get these shots. They could have just waited the next morning and got it. There was no kind of real raised stakes here.
But what if they didn't have the budget to pay the actors overtime? You know, SAG-AFTRA.
Well, maybe they should do their planning better. I don't know what to tell you about
SAG-AFTRA.
that. That sounds like a coordinator's problem more than a director's.
But no, it makes me because I also watch behind the scenes. James is being a hater right now.
I'm not being a hater. I'm just not impressed by that. I don't care.
When I heard Sean talk about the film, he also talked about how he didn't really, in some scenes, take like a double take. Like it was all right with just that one shot. And I was like, okay, that really impressed me from Madison, like acting wise, because her acting was a point. Like I can't take that away from her. I didn't fully enjoy the movie, but she delivered when she needed to deliver. She delivered a young adult at the beginning. And then near the middle, she had like confrontation with the family. Like there was different like aspects of her acting. And then near the end, it was just an emotional breakdown, which not everybody could do a crying scene. So I was like, I could see why she got the award.
I think it was more Hollywood just protecting its up and comers. That's kind of like what I was getting from it when she got the Oscar. That's because again, like watching this, like she didn't do anything more than like Florence Pugh did in Midsummer or anything like that, or even like Mia Goth in Pearl. It's just a loud braying girl. This movie was essentially just Kitty Foyle and a G-string. That's what I got from it. It's like I've seen this story a lot, and I saw a lot of critics calling it like the pretty woman of our generation. I'm like, bitch, where? Let's calm that down. If anything, it is Kitty Foyle in a rhinestone G-string. That's all it is.
For me, it gave me Euphoria. I saw a lot of the Euphoria aesthetic in the first half of the movie. The only part that I personally didn't like about the movie, obviously, is make-believe. But just, it's the same issue that I had with Euphoria, is that it seems like it's glamorizing drug use. Like, it's so glamorous and fun to be on drugs. That's the only issue I had with the storytelling, but obviously, it's make-believe. But that's only the only aspect where I'm just like, I don't like that about Euphoria, and I don't like that about this film because they make it like, oh, it's glittery, it's fun, we're doing drugs, but like
that's what a couple of my friends I talked to about it, like one of the things they said that was really profound to me after watching, is I get it now, is like So that Substance said very little, but said a lot with what it did with its film. This film has lots of dialogue and says very little. That's what I've noticed. It's like there's lots of talking, lots of screaming, but there's very little going on. And even like the things they build towards don't necessarily live up to anything worthwhile.
Yeah, there are some problems. So there are some things I didn't like about the film too. The guy that was watching over the boyfriend, the twink, I'm gonna call him the twink.
Yeah.
The guy that was watching over the twink, who is Madison's boyfriend in the film, he was really scared of the parents. So I was like, ooh.
Yeah, they really built them up. Like they're gonna be these huge, like heavy. And by the time we got to it,
it was like really nothing. It was like, oh, like, so the lady is just mean.
An overbearing Russian mom is all it was. It's like, okay, well, I've seen this character time and time again. And even this like standoffs and like the back and forth with her and Mikey were really underwhelming. Like I really wish there was like this a little bit more better writing when it came to it. It's just like, well, give her like some cutting dialogue or like a good one-liner that people can quote or like something you can gif. And like there was nothing like that really. There was no moment where I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna remember that for the rest of my life. Like, oh my God, I'm going to think about that when I'm like washing my dishes. Like, there's nothing like that in this movie.
I can't quote anything.
Yeah. Search your fucking soul for it. Because I guarantee you will not find one goddamn quote in this movie that's going to stick with you. Unless it's Diamond the stripper. Because really, she was the one saving this film for me. The hater stripper at the club.
The redhead one?
Yeah, the evil redhead that was dancing to Iggy Azalea.
Okay, not gonna lie. The hater in the movie, what's her name? Diamond?
Diamond?
Yeah, Diamond, the hater in the movie. Honestly, she kind of called it. She was like, I'll give you 2 weeks with this twink. And she got 2 weeks.
She got 2 weeks. And I must say, like, watching it, it was a lot of fun. Like, the very beginning of this movie to, like, the middle of it, it was really fun. It was when the actual plot came in that you're just like, okay, this is going to get really interesting. And it never did. It was kind of like the same old, and lots of scenes carried on for way too long. That search and rescue took forever. Like, they could have been a montage, bitch.
Yeah, they were trying to find the twink for some reason.
Well, he ran away because they basically said they're going to call his parents. And, like, we find out he's, like, a total little, like, bitch who can't stand up to his parents.
Yeah, well, let's rewind. Okay, so the beginning is a lot of sex. It's a lot of sex scenes. A lot of Madison's titties showing.
We're doing like striptease dances for them and like just lots of him banging her.
This is why I'm like, wow, this is on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear shit about gay people.
It was like, remember the like show Swarm? And like we had to see that one girl from Chloe and Halle like get her back bent over like the whole first episode. That's kind of how I felt. I was like, this is a lot. I recognize this girl from Scream. I don't want to see her like this. This is too much. Once was enough.
I like the lighting in it. When they were at headquarters, I really love the lighting. That's where it all reminded me of Euphoria. I did see a behind the scenes interview with Madison saying that she did improv all those, how do you say, lines at the beginning with her sitting on people's laps, asking for a dance and everything, which I thought was cool because like you don't really get to see that in films. Like a lot of people want you to be off the book, like line by line. Of course, some directors like to do improv. For her, it was cool, and I was like, oh, that's cool, knowing that all that was improv. Sitting down, acting like one of the
like a stripper at work.
Yeah. Sitting down. I'm surprised she didn't. I would have gagged. That she would have been like, do you want to see my show?
Do you want to take me for my show? I mean, I'm pretty sure had we sat in that scene for a while, we would have eventually gotten there because it seemed like it was very routine. Everything she said was the same exact thing. And like, it's going to work. It didn't work. It's going to work. It did work. Like basically it built up the idea of like, you got it within the first 5 minutes. Okay. Like the stripper's goal is to get the guy to the VIP room because that's where she's going to make all the money.
Mm-hmm. She meets this twink. She's getting tipped out. She goes to this party or whatever. They end up doing the thing. And then all of a sudden he starts talking crazy like, oh, I'm so in love with you, blah, blah, let's go get married in Vegas. Stepping into reality out of the fiction world. Why would you do that?
I have this question. This is actually what I want to talk about was this part of this plot device in the film. Do you think she ever actually fell in love? Because it was giving me she was just trying to secure the bag.
I was hoping she was just trying to secure the bag. I feel like initially, if he wasn't rich or had like a mansion, I don't think she would have married him, real talk.
Yeah.
But since he was rich, I'm thinking, this is my own interpretation. At the beginning, she was after the bag. You know, she's going to live in this mansion, whatever. But somewhere, knowing how this character was kind of written, like very like, wears her heart on her sleeve.
Uh-huh.
I feel like she kind of liked him a little bit because she put up with all the bullshit about her family, him running away. Because I'm like, if I was just in it for the bag and this person's like said, deuces, just left you while you were, we got to bring that up. Okay. Yeah. Just left you. left you there, I would have been like, let him go. I don't give a fuck. But she actually went out to look for him. But let me bring that back because there was like a weird scene. This whole thing was for me was weird when the parents send out some guys to check in to see if she was actually married. This whole scene in the living room, for me, it was just like, whose kinky fantasy is this?
There was a lot happening. There's like biting, there's tying up. She's get tied up and gagged. It's like there's lots happening in this. Where I'm just like, okay, I feel like I'm working through something with you. It's almost Tarantino-esque the way it's going on. It's just like I'm waiting for like big shots of her bare feet struggling. It was a lot. It was a lot of like kinkiness going on, and that didn't necessarily seem necessary for the scene because could dismantle it so quickly had she just screamed for the police. Like, I mean, there was a guard on duty and everything. The windows and doors were all open. Like, how is no one hearing her?
Which, for me, for the whole movie, I thought the twink was gay.
I thought he was like pandering and like just trying to like explore her.
Yeah, because even the guard was just like, is that Yvonne throwing one of his tantrums again? And I was like, how femme does his voice get?
I didn't think that. I got just spoiled brat. Like one of those like guys that just refuses to grow up because they're so rich and spoiled, which is like a thing. There's very much that where like they just refuse to grow up. Hence why he was like playing video games all day long, even after marrying this girl impulsively. I will say watching this, I didn't get once that she was in love. It got very much like she was going to try and take this as far as she can go and see where it would happen. And like it got well out of her control very quickly as soon as the other people started to show up in the life.
Yeah, because once the guy said, hey, your parents are on their way from Russia, he got scared and dipped.
He was in the wind, like, girl.
All Nora wanted to do was go upstairs and grab her things, get dressed real quick. And he's like, well, bye. I'm like, girl, they're not going to be here in 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're coming all the way from Russia.
You could have just waited. But that's the first tell that he didn't really like her. I feel like Anora, ended up liking the twink, but the twink didn't really like her. And I feel like at some point, she did realize, oh, like this dude doesn't respect me. It was, I think, in the plane scene when the mom finally talked Anora into getting to the divorce, where he's told the mom, I was just having fun with an escort, the way she felt some type of way. But that's the only part about the movie where I was wondering, like, wasn't she an escort? Because she wanted her to be his girlfriend for a week, $50,000. Isn't that escorting?
That's escorting, yeah. Like she was technically being a sex worker because like, even when she went home with him the first night, she like threw out numbers for like what it would cost and everything. So like she was fully doing sex work, but it's also I think this is where the Pretty Woman reference comes from. Like she caught feelings, or she maybe like got a little too wrapped up in the fantasy or too comfortable in it in such a short span where she thought, oh, wait, there could actually be something I can like have a future with this with. Even though like after they're married, he's literally just sitting there playing video games, ignoring her while she's doing everything to get his attention. It's the saddest thing in the world watching. It's just like, oh, girl.
Yeah.
This is going to come crumbling down so fast.
So now I'm understanding why she got offended that she was just called just an escort, because she, like I said, she did catch feelings for this guy. I told, like, maybe at the beginning it was just like all for the money, but at some point I feel like maybe she let her heart.
Well, also they established early on that she's not the brightest bulb. Like she's a little bit impulsive and dumb and self-centered, and it just seems like she was going to go with whatever was going to get her the dollar and like excel her higher up in status. What I really wish they would have done more with her is like the fact that like how outspoken she was. Like she wasn't afraid to stand up for herself and shout back at these people. I really wish she had just gotten some better digs. Like write her some fucking clever lines, like some kind of dialogue, especially with that mom showdown. There really need to be more.
Well, it wasn't written by a gay guy.
No, it was written by a very much a straight guy.
But even when some gay guys...
I think the priority there was like making sure she was getting railed on the carpet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there was a lot of like her titties out. I'm like, damn.
They're fucking again? Like, Jesus Christ.
I was like, was Sydney Sweeney in the run for this film too? Like, goddamn.
It was very that though. It felt like a Sydney Sweeney role.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
It was like, I feel like you're a gynecologist at this point, Mikey. I'm so sorry. Like, you had to do a lot. Like, I'm not saying you didn't deserve your Oscar, because watching it is just like, oh yeah, I mean, you're basically getting railed. It's softcore porn, this movie, just about. Like, it's so gratuitous. We're like, okay, you got it. Just take it. All right. Put it somewhere nice. Hold your door open with it.
I think she deserved the Oscar because they made her go through a lot of stuff in this movie. I could see why she won. Now, I didn't watch any of the other movies that were going against her. Like, I did watch The Substance. I thought Demi Moore was really good in that too. So I feel like I was kind of jaded for a moment. Like, ugh, I don't know. When I first watching this movie, like, I don't know how she lost to The Substance. But now, like...
yeah.
But now...
You tell your point first.
But now, like, after seeing all the work that she put into making this character happen, I was like, oh yeah, you deserve that Oscar win.
Well, I mean, looking at it, it's like there was what Wicked and a few other roles. The ones people were really betting their money on were going to be her and Demi Moore. So she was really just going up against Demi Moore and all of her prosthetics. That's truly what it was. Because when you really watch Demi Moore's performance, it's like it's gripping and it's great. But I didn't expect it to be any more than just like an Oscar nomination. She campaigned really hard. Like she campaigned everywhere to the point where it's like, oh, she actually could take it. Because that's really impressive to Hollywood is how like aggressively you campaign and you do all the things and all the junkets. Whereas Mikey Madison didn't do anything. Like she literally just did an interview with Pamela Anderson and that was it. Like there was no kind of huge like press campaign and tour for this movie, which is why I think everyone was so surprised that it swept the award shows. Like it kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, okay, suddenly you guys like this little movie? Where the fuck did this come from?
Well, according to you, it was payola.
Oh, I'm certain it was payola. Oh. There's plenty of sources citing the fact that they paid a lot of money to get a lot of people to pay attention to it.
But that's the thing. When it comes to award shows, it is about politics, and I feel like, did they brainwash me? Did they tell me, oh,
I think you drank the Kool-Aid watching that, like them explain like show their work. Look how hard it was to make our little movie. Well, even though we made like 7 other films before this.
Well, he is independent. That's what I watch. He's very like independent filmmaker, which when it comes to that, I like that because I'm like, it's not a like
I also don't know enough about his filmography to know just how independent they were. It's not as if they're making like dirt cheap like art films in their trailer. It's like they had full on productions behind them.
But I think movies are not cheap to make, even though some look cheap. They're not like that animation movie that everybody is Flow, I believe.
Yeah,
they're all like lazy in it right now, which I watched. I thought it was a very good movie, but they're like misrepresenting like a lot of headlines. I was like, this movie that was made on this free open source program just beat all these Disney animations and blah 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 blah. Yeah, but they also spent $7 million to make that movie, and that's small budget compared to like all these other films.
And they're also able to tell a more broad and narrative story because they're not working under constraints of a huge corporation like Disney, where it has to please a huge mass market. So, like, of course, you can be more artistic and free with what you're saying. So, anyway, again, like, I'm not knocking Flow. I thought it was very good. But you can, like, as soon as you, like, do a little bit of research, especially when it comes to the Oscars, the Oscars smells their own farts so much, where it's like, oh, okay. You're awarding this because you thought it's going to make you seem more inclusive or cool or something of the sort. Because for a while there, the Oscars got the reputation of being kind of like a stinky old award show made up by a bunch of old guard people that gatekeep.
Isn't that every award show?
But the Oscars especially are the ones that are the worst about it because they're seen as more important because people in the industry vote on it. It's not people's choice. It's not everyone in the public thinks this movie's great. It's this small group of peers thought this movie was worthy of your attention and you should like think it's important.
Well, even without like the Oscar, I don't think the movie was bad.
No.
I just didn't like the ending.
I don't think it said anything like remarkably profound, but I'm not saying it's a bad movie. Like I wouldn't watch it again.
The ending just didn't feel like an ending to me.
Well, it just fucking ended. Like that was it. You got no kind of conclusion with anything, which I'm so sick of. Like, give us a proper ending.
Like the ending was just like her crying, which I guess that's what got her an Oscar. Because don't they make the jokes that in order to win an Oscar, you have to be a super sad movie?
You have to basically be like put through the ringer and tortured for like 2 hours in order to get an Oscar.
This is my own interpretation of the ending, okay? After she was put through everything that she was put through the courthouse to get a divorce, because eventually she did divorce the guy because she's like, oh, girl, he's a piece of shit. He was just using you, called you an escort from his mom. He's a mama's boy. That's the big problem. He was a big mama's boy, and he was scared of his parents. He was scared to grow up, Miss Twink. And I would have got tired of that too. At first, I was like, no, girl, hold out for your bag. Hold out for your bag. But I'm pretty sure she was at that point over it because she's been through so much with these guys. This, like, priest guy?
Yeah, I don't know what exactly he was. He worked for the family. But that's something they established early on is, like, she's not very bright. So, like, it was very easy for people to manipulate her and bully her into decisions. Like, especially with the mom. Like, when she stood up to her and said she was going to, like, get a divorce and take half, the mom was like, oh, we would destroy you in court. Like, she just folded so quickly.
Which is kind of sad because you have to have a lot of money to go to court.
Yeah, it's kind of set up for rich people to succeed. And, like, even more so, she only went along with the divorce, with the annulment idea, not even a divorce, an annulment, because they told her, like, for the fact that he married you for a visa, you can get $10K. Well, that was the only reason she agreed to do it, because at least she knew she was getting some kind of, like, security bag in return.
I would have taken that 10K too. I'm just like,
Hire you a lawyer, yeah. I mean, it's a matter of like who wants to take on this like family from Russia who's probably not even going to show up for the court dates. Like, surely, like, how much was she really guaranteed if she actually would have taken them to court?
There's a character there named Igor, who is the one that basically ties her up and like gags her and all that, and that living room scene, like, which for me that was all unnecessary. You guys could have just held her down. But apparently she was one of the toughest girls I ever fucking met because she was whooping their asses. But yeah, Igor, you could tell, has interest for Nora the whole time, and she's just so blind she can't see it because she's so invested with this twink, this mama's boy, that she fails to see like, oh, there's this guy that has this interest in me. And I guess near the end, oh, I should explain this part too.
Yeah.
The twink gave her a wedding ring, but it was the mom's. So they take that ring away from her. And then at the end, Igor drops her off back at her home in Brooklyn, opens up his hand, is like, here's the ring. So got her the ring back. And at that moment, I felt like she probably felt like, oh, I really wanted this. But oh my God, there's so much to explain.
Here's the thing about that part of the movie that I didn't love. It's like, okay, so this is a very weird Luke and Laura situation where she basically is falling in love with her captor, which I don't love that. I really don't love that at all. I think that's a horrible like thing we keep pushing. And it's one of those things like she slowly warms up to the guy that basically imprisoned her falsely for what, a whole fucking 2 days.
So there's a conversation. They signed the annulment. Anora and Igor are able to stay at their house for one night.
Yeah, they said you can stay there one night, but then you have to leave.
Then you have to leave. During that time, basically, Anora says like, hey, I can't say the word because we're going to post this on YouTube.
Yeah.
Basically saying you look like a little creepy, you know, you have creeper eyes. That's what I'm going to say. She doesn't say that word. You have creeper eyes. She states that she's surprised he didn't like, you know, R her.
Yeah. And he said like,
he's like, I'm not an artist.
Yeah. And and then she calls him a bundle of twigs.
Yeah, then he calls him. That's the thing. They were using that F slur a lot.
Yeah.
And he was basically, why don't you want to R me? Is it because you're an F? I was like, ooh.
It's so weird. It was such a weird scene. I'm like, what is going on? This is the weirdest form of negging I've ever seen. Like, what is going on?
So, like, she basically got mad because he wasn't interested in her. He's like, why don't you want to R me? Why do you want me to R me? He's like, because I'm not an artist. And she's just like, no, it's because you're a bundle of twigs.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now?
So yeah,
this scene.
So this is why I'm guessing like that ending scene. I feel like it was like some weird like psychological issues going into in Nora's head. I feel like it was ego too. Like I can't believe this guy doesn't want to like mess with me, you know? For me, my interpretation was like maybe she was going through all this shit with this twink, this F boy, and she didn't feel like. But after she noticed, he went out of his way to get her the ring and then tried to kiss her. It's like, oh, this guy really liked me, and she just broke down because she, I don't know, felt loved. I don't know. That's my interpretation. I don't know what they were going with that. It was kind of weird.
My interpretation was, I guess, like it was everything coming to a head of what just happened to her in the last couple of hours or like last couple of days, like all that stress she was put through just coming to a head and like just trying to find like sanctuary in anything, even if it's like the guy that held you prisoner for a whole fucking day. Yeah, it was very bizarre. And it just kind of ended. When I think what I took umbrage with this film, especially from like watching, maybe I took a little bit of like rage with me from watching Last Showgirl and like having that hyped up for me, is when they were doing that back and forth interview with each other, they mentioned that like what I think sets this film apart is the fact that like these girls go through so much, but at the end it's very optimistic and you feel like the girls are gonna be okay. I'm like, I didn't get that from this. She's not going to be okay. She's fucking traumatized.
Yeah, she's going through some trauma. I don't think. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's the opposite of uplifting. Like, what the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. There's some psychological issues happening with Anora and that ending scene.
10 days going toward therapy, girl.
I'm telling you, that money's gonna be eaten up in therapy so quick. Because therapy is expensive if you don't have insurance.
But I was like, I think that's what I took umbrage with, because like I was waiting for. I was like, okay, well, when's this movie gonna turn around and give us something cool? Nothing ever like that happens. It's just keep like constant trauma being hurled at her and just like played for laughs.
I guess the beginning was the happy stuff. They were just partying and doing drugs. But again, that's the part where I was just like, girl, I'm tired of people glamorizing drugs. It's not glamorous.
No. And on top of that, it's just like it never had any real kind of like payoff or any kind of like real drawbacks for them doing it. It was just kind of shown as like, yeah, isn't that fun? We're like so drunk. We're doing drugs in a hot tub. We're in Vegas, just being decadent. But there's never kind of like repercussions for their actions. I guess them getting married impulsively, but it's like, that's not enough. I'm sorry, it's just not. And the fact that like they built up this whole storyline with the parents, I'm just like, okay, she's going to have this amazing one where she stands up and they like prove their love. No, we don't get any of that. It's just a depressing like end with a girl that's just going to be very traumatized and she ain't going to be right.
Mm-mm. And honestly, this is kind of weird to say. The realest character in this movie was Diamond.
Yeah.
Because I know she was trifling. She was like that, but at least she kept it real. She called it out.
She was not trifling though, because in the beginning, Diamond confronted her and said, "Hey, did you give my boyfriend a lap dance when he came in here?" And she's like, "Yeah, I did."
I completely missed that part. So Anora,
Yeah. She was justified in being pissed at this girl.
yes. So Anora just got revenge. Okay, so they just try to twist it on us. You see, I missed the 1 second of the movie, and then I think Diamond is trifling. No, she was just trying to get her revenge. She was trying to get her lip back. But it was funny because she's called it. She's like, "I'll give you guys 2 weeks," and then she did confront him because at one point of the scene, he shows up to headquarters, which is the strip club, and Diamond decides to do her revenge and give him a lap dance. And she was right. It was only like 2 weeks, and then Anora gets all pissed at her. They get into a cat fight. Honestly, Diamond whooped her ass.
Yes, Anora sucker punched her, and like look at her face and look at Anora's. Okay, like Anora got her ass whooped.
And then, but they were playing Sally Walker by Iggy Azalea on the way there, which I thought was kind of hilarious because Diamond is a redhead, and allegedly, Sally Walker by Iggy Azalea is a diss track to Bad Baby, who is a redhead, like a dyed redhead, which I thought was funny. I'm like, girl, if that came out now, I'm not gonna lie, I fear for Iggy Azalea because Bad Baby released Miss Whitman, and I was like, girl, she just likes to talk her shit. But yeah, my takeaway from Anora is I drank the Kool-Aid. Yeah, like I drank the Kool-Aid. Like okay, let me talk. Initially, when I first saw it, I'm like, it was a good movie. To me, it reminded me of Euphoria mixed with Sopranos. That's kind of what it gave me.
Yeah,
like, Euphoria meets The Godfather. Only there's like no Godfather payoff. They think that you're gonna get that. You're gonna get something like extreme, like oh my god, these parents must be like mob bosses or something. But it never got to that. I feel like maybe this movie needs a sequel to show why they were so scared of the parents showing up there, because that storyline didn't really go anywhere. It was just, oh no, the mom is just very strict and mean.
Yeah, she's an overbearing Russian mom, but she's also like protecting the fact like I don't want you marrying some girl you just met. So it's like she was very cold and rude, but it's understandable why she was upset.
It gave me Britney Spears when Britney Spears married at the Little White Chapel here in Las Vegas, because they got married here in Las Vegas at the Little White Chapel, and so did Britney Spears, and her wedding got annulled. So of course, like as a parent, you're gonna freak out.
Yeah. Especially as like some random girl, like they're just going to make the bold assumptions that she was after the money. And like, honestly, they're kind of right about that. But like, my takeaways from this from watching it is just like, I didn't understand what all the hype was really about. Like, I don't think it was anything to really write home about. It didn't move me the way I thought that moved other critics, apparently. I thought of it more as like Kitty Foyle if it was directed by Oliver Stone. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, Kitty Foyle is a movie from the 1930s that starred Ginger Rogers, where basically she was a woman who impulsively marries her boss, who's like this rich guy, and she goes to meet his family, and they're all dismissive and nasty to her, and she leaves him and marries some guy that isn't like, as wealthy. She's happier that way. That's basically the movie that we watched here, only they added stripping and more drugs. It's Kitty Foyle in a G-string. It's all it is. I was watching, I was like, I've seen this before. What movie is... Oh, I didn't like that movie either.
Well, I feel like it's 2025. Like, what idea hasn't been filmed?
But what did they do that was any different? That was the thing. It's like, if anything, it just had a worse ending.
They made a Euphoria.
They added Euphoria and drugs, yeah, and they didn't really give it an ending at all. It just ends.
The main part I didn't like about the movie is the whole parents thing. I already talked about it. It didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it didn't go anywhere. And like, there's never this moment where I think like, oh, she's going to stand up for herself. And it just doesn't happen. Which I think is what I was thinking about the Kitty Foyle thing. At least she stands up for herself. At least she like pleads her case and tells off the family and walks out with her head held high, despite the fact that she's leaving behind all this wealth. We never got that with this. It was more just like, well, you lost. It's too bad, so sad you lost.
And I don't know why, a lot of movies love that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel we just watched Heretic,
yeah.
where it has a similar ending. I didn't want to talk about it because I was kind of annoyed.
Yeah.
It was another one of those open ending movies where it's just like...
It drummed on for way too long and they made a lot of points about nothing.
Mm-hmm. I feel like with this movie, Euphoria, Anora, I feel like they get left it up to us, to our interpretation, to interpret a lot of things, which is, I guess, that's where I feel like I made this movie better for myself because I interpreted a lot of things that the movie didn't really say.
Well, it was visual like corn though. Like it was shot very well, and like they used up their like locations very well because they knew they had them for very little time. And you were wondering like if they stole shots. I'm sure they probably did, especially here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Shots on Fremont.
I was wondering if they stole shots on Fremont because I did see a few people just going like this, filming on their phone.
Yeah. It was all right, I guess. That's kind of what I would say about it. And I wouldn't watch it again. Like, there's nothing that stuck around in my mind that I'm going to remember.
I mean, I wouldn't watch it again either, but I didn't hate the movie. Like, I enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy the ending. And I didn't enjoy, like, there was no payoff with the parents.
Yeah.
Because the dad was just laughing. The mom called her a hooker, and she's like, well, your son hates you so much that she married one. And the dad's like, ah, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, this is a dad that clearly just hates his family.
Yeah, that hates his family. But what are your thoughts? What do you think about Anora?
Yeah, what you guys think?
Oh my God, Pac. Pac has an opinion about this. Anora sounds kind of boring.
There's no gay people in it, so I don't know if you're going to be interested.
That's what it was missing.
It missed some gays.
I was missing some gays.
She had a sassy gay friend that would have called her on that F word. Oh, before I go, I have to do a shameless plug. Do you like my hair? I'm wearing a styled medieval wig from Jaymes Mansfield Beauty. If you like styled wigs, I got you covered. I have some of the finest hats around. Get into it, honey, because they're premium, baby. JamesMansfieldBeauty.com.
That's JamesMansfieldBeauty.com. I like Anora. James hates Anora, apparently.
I didn't hate it. It just didn't do anything for me. I just thought it was all right. It was middle of the road.
But when it comes to James, James says he doesn't hate it, but projects a lot of negative opinions. He's like, I don't hate it.
I'm allowed to point out its shortcomings. That's what criticism is.
Well, what did you like about the movie if you didn't hate it?
I thought Mikey Madison did a very good job as far as acting goes. Like, she definitely carried the movie on her back. Literally and physically, her back was blown out by the end of this, honey. And as far as the guy that played Yvonne goes, like, it was very good, even though he probably had the easiest role. He just had to sit back and like laugh a lot.
And pretend to be drunk.
Yeah. Again, like, it was very fun. Like, the beginning and middle were very, very fun.
The ending was
The ending was so mid. And like, even the chase went on for that whole third act went on for way too long. It didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, where they were just trying to find Twink. I'm telling you, is the actor gay?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. It was giving me gay vibes.
He just has that Timothée Chalamet vibe about him, where it's just like, could be gay, couldn't be. You know, you never know. He'll probably do a lot of gay roles or something.
No, save those roles for the gay people, okay?
Oh, it's Hollywood, honey. That ship has sailed. It's only gonna be straight people playing room for whatever.
I guess, okay. I'm gonna say you the 3 things I didn't like. Since I was being so positive about the movie the whole time, and I made you say positive things, I'm gonna say negative things.
You're a devil's advocate, and I like that.
I hate that they did the F slur, say the F slur so many times.
Yeah, and unnecessarily amount of times.
Like, what was the point? Okay, I forgot the name of the director.
Sean Baker.
Mr. Sean Baker, why did he use the F word so many times? I didn't like that the parents' storyline didn't go anywhere, and I didn't like the ending.
Also, they did drop that F-bomb quite a bit. I'm just like, she's a sex worker living in like Brooklyn. Like, that's like the least homophobic area around. Like, there's no fucking way that word be leaving her lips so freely.
And you know what? I'm Team Diamond now.
I'm fully Team Diamond.
I'm leaving this movie. I'm leaving this podcast episode. Team Diamond.
She was framed to be such a hater villain when really she was completely justified in hating Anora.
And maybe that's why she hates Anora, not only because she took her man, but also she says the F slur. I'm like, girl,
that's it. Maybe she's a homophobe.
Like, are you part of the community? Anora, are you part of the community? I know you could try to kiss Diamond, but Diamond's probably like, she sees through your bullshit.
That was a power play. She thought she had her, and then she fully got rocked after.
I need a Diamond movie now.
Diamond, where's your movie? Because you seem like a more interesting character. I will say this as a final thought about the movie. It told the tale, which I didn't necessarily expect and was not sold to me. Like, the whole thing was supposed to be like a Cinderella story. It truly was just a greedy girl that shot her arrow too high and didn't hit anything. She lost. She gambled big and lost big.
Girl, it was giving Sydney Sweeney in Euphoria.
Yeah. Yeah. Except she at least got the guy in the end. She wasn't happy, but she at least got the guy.
I mean, she got a guy.
She got the one she wanted. She got her friend's man. Was she with Nate or not? I feel like she was.
All right, well, that's it. Until next time. Bye.
Yes, bye.